Inquiring minds want to know how my MdDS was affected as I navigated my way through the realm of light, color, sound, and space known as the projected desert at Meow Wolf at Area 15 in Las Vegas. Today I'm going to tell you guys some tips for how to prepare and navigate your way through an experience like this, but first I'm going to talk about the why. Why would I put myself into a situation where I know that I'm going to be on sensory overload and it's going to cause my symptoms to spike and going to make me feel awful? Well, if you live with MdDS, you know that you constantly feel a sense of motion and it never ever goes away. And doing simple daily activities make you feel awful every day. Simple things that other people take for granted, like going grocery shopping, doing laundry, washing dishes, sweeping or mopping a floor, vacuuming a floor, spending time on a computer. These are all things that give us spikes in our symptoms, yet we still have to do them on a daily basis. And these are not even things that really bring us a whole lot of joy in our life. They're just tedious tasks that need to be done. Yet we still find ourselves avoiding the things that we know we would enjoy because we're worried about how it might affect our symptoms. And sometimes we just have to change that frame of mind and remind ourselves that, yeah, we have this illness, but it doesn't have us. Some people say it's better to have loved and lost, but I like to say it's better to have done and robbed. If you haven't already seen my Meow Wolf video and are curious about what the projected desert actually is, go ahead and check out the video down below in the description. I added a link right there. And if you've ever been to one of the Meow Wolf locations, leave me a comment down below and let me know which one you went to. So what did I do to prepare for the projected desert? First of all, if you rely on a mobility aid, don't be afraid to bring it because every exhibit of the projected desert is accessible. If you're using a mobility aid, there are plenty of attendants all through the projected desert in almost every exhibit that are ready to direct you to a more accessible route into whichever exhibit you're trying to get to. I do have a cane that I use on bad days or times when I'm struggling to walk, but I chose not to bring the cane with me when I went to Area 15. Although you will notice me holding on to all of the railings and handlebars very tight to keep my balance and make sure that I don't fall. I did, however, pack my arsenal of sunglasses and blue light blocking glasses just in case. However, when I got to Area 15, I realized that I left all of my glasses in the hotel room. So the first thing I did when I entered the building was make my way to one of the many gift shops and buy the first pair of sunglasses I could find. Because if anything says I'm seeing stars and my eyeballs are melting out of my head, it's these babies. If you do take any supplements or natural remedies or any medication that helps suppress your symptoms, then I definitely recommend making sure that you've taken it that day. And if you take any type of rescue medication for when your symptoms spike, if I know that I'm going into an environment like this where my symptoms are definitely going to spike, I prepare myself by taking that rescue medication ahead of time rather than waiting for the symptoms to get out of control before I take it. And another thing to remember, Area 15 is located in Las Vegas, where the liquor runs freely. So if a drink or two help to suppress your symptoms, maybe you might want to stop at one of the awesome bars located in Area 15. So the way into the projected desert is through a store called Omegamart. Great! A grocery store, just what we all love. So those of you living with a vestibular illness like MdDS probably know that going to a grocery store is a place where symptoms tend to skyrocket. It's the fluorescent lighting, the crowds, the walking up and down aisles, all of the visual stimulation that you're seeing as you're passing by products and searching shelves for products. All of that visual stimulation puts our system in overdrive. But walking through Omegamart did not give me that same sensory overload. I could take it at my own pace. I wasn't surrounded by people who were fighting over the ground beef or fighting over the hot dog buns on game day. I could really just stop and take it in. I also didn't feel the same sense of sensory overload that I feel in a grocery store with multiple registers beeping and intercom systems running and multiple shopping carts squeaking and running around every which way. As I first entered the projected desert through one of the refrigerated doors in Omegamart, I felt right at home. I mean, look at that floor. It feels exactly like what I feel I'm walking on all day long.
Good.
One thing that I really appreciated, many of the rooms had little warning signs that let you know what kind of effect you were going to see if you entered that room. There was one room that had strobe lighting in it, and that was definitely an effect that my vestibular system could not handle. Just check out what I say after I've frantically made my way out of the room. Thought I was gonna die in there. I was also really thankful that there were seats and benches located in every single exhibit. Because although I didn't bring my cane, therefore wasn't relying on a mobility aid, I definitely struggled to walk through the exhibit. It wasn't that I was having a hard time walking, it was that walking was literally wearing me out because I felt so disoriented and the sense of motion was so strong that I was fighting it so hard. So I did have to stop and sit down in almost every exhibit just to kind of catch my breath for a little while. This is the room that I resonated with the most. As I entered this exhibit, I felt like this was what MdDS feels like. The constant pushing and pulling, the sensation of non-stop bobbing, swaying, and rocking, constantly morphing and changing, never knowing what motion sensation will come next, but always bracing yourself for whatever it might be. But never, ever still. There was also one particular part of the room that had less sensory overload than the rest. It was more of a quiet room with just some wooden bench seating and some wooden decorations on the walls. And when I was really feeling really overloaded by all the lights and sounds, I did kind of tuck away into that room and take a little break from it. Although I didn't feel great making my way through the projected desert, it's an experience I definitely do not regret. I was in awe of everything I saw. And honestly, I'd do it again in a heartbeat. To tell you the truth, I'm looking forward to visiting the many other locations of Meow Wolf. If you're one of my fellow vestibular warriors and you find yourself avoiding things that you know you would love to do just because you're worried about how it would affect your symptoms, just remember, it's all about creativity and mindset. Finding new ways to still enjoy the things that you love. Finding ways to be defined by you and not defined by your illness. Thanks for joining me again on Life Rocks, and just remember, it's better to have lived and rocked